Good day, grade sevens. Today we will be focusing on some pre-writing activities, and you could turn to page 391 so that we could start it. Now, last week we also looked at the speech, the Nobel speech by Al Gore, and we analyzed his speech, and we also looked at the written text. So we had the video and we had the text, and now we need to write an argumentative text to say which of the speech is more convincing or persuasive. Okay, is it the text or the video? So before we can continue on to that, in our drafting, we first need to state our claim. What did we choose and why we chose it? And here, obviously, we've gone through this video and the text, and we've analyzed the speech, and we've also analyzed the video, and we've looked at the strengths, and we've looked at the weaknesses, if you can remember, and that was on page 390. And we looked at the possible opposing views, and we also looked at some of the counter arguments. But today, we need to put our planning for our argumentative text into writing. And here we see that we chose, I said as a class, we would choose the video because the speech is more passionate and more people will be convinced or persuaded by the video. So when drafting for your argumentative text, you first need to plan your claim. You need to say what you chose and state one of the strongest reasons why you chose that particular point of view. Then we also needed to look, when writing an argumentative text, we need to understand that there will be people who will be against our decision. And those decisions we call the opposing view. So we need to come up with some sort of idea that our opposition could have against our point. And some of those points that would appear in the opposing view would be that the text is easier to follow because a reader can see the structure, or that the text is more effective for allowing readers to review details. Yes, and then we said, fine, that might be our opposing view, but what is our counter argument going to be against the opposing view? What is going to help us weaken the opposition's view about our claim? And we decided the following. We said readers might not be able to understand the text because the text utilizes complex English. And when we read the speech, we discovered that it is quite a difficult piece or text to follow. And because of that, sometimes the reader won't be as convinced by the text than what they would be convinced by the video. Or we said that today technology allows us to review details easily in videos, structure, or the structure also appears in a video. And this would be our counter argument against the opposing view. So remember, when even setting up for a debate, these are the kinds of strategies that one can use to weaken the opposition's defense. So this was part of our drafting. Then we needed to move on, and this you will see on page 393. You could complete that activity there as well. So when we have completed our drafting, which we have just done, and planning and pre-writing activities, we'll start writing the argumentative essay. So we first needed to plan and structure our argument, and now we can put it into writing. So the first thing is to start with an introduction. So that is the introduction. Your claim will form part of this introduction, as well as your opening statement, okay, and your reasons that support some of the claims that you have. So we could say that I would choose the video because the video is more effective in that I believe spoken speech is more rhythmic and musical. Here's another 2 points why we could also state that the video is more convincing. So take some screenshots of this while you are here. It is more persuasive as we can see the audience's reactions as well as the speaker's emotions. So these are some of the evidence-based video strategies that we used in favor of our argument. Why we said that we would rather choose the video than the text. Okay, so firstly, remember any argumentative text should be based on evidence or should try and persuade or convince your reader to side with your claim. So these were the reasons. We chose the video because we believe that spoken speech is more rhythmic. When you're doing a speech, you actually feel it other than reading it. And this is the aim. We want to motivate and we want to persuade and convince the reader or the audience are using the means of technology, whether it be written or video. It is more persuasive as we can see the audience's reactions. So if we were to watch the video, we would want to be changing towards our environment, and we get to feel and to hear the speaker's emotions that he's feeling towards the topic that he is presenting. Once we have completed our introduction and stated our main case or our claim and the reason we chose our claim, here are some counterclaims, and this will form part of the body of your essay, of your argumentative essay. So here we would go more into depth, look at more possible reasons why the video is more convincing, and also to weaken the defense or the opposing view of why the why we say that the text is less convincing. So some might argue that the text evidence may be easier to follow or to trace organizational structure and to review details. This is what we're saying. This is the counterclaim. Some people might say that the text is better because of these reasons, but then we would have our counter argument in the body of our argumentative essay as well. So then we could obviously go on to say that yes, indeed, this might be true. Yet, will the audience really be persuaded by this? So now we're creating the doubt in the opposing view's mind or in our audience's mind. We need to create doubt by asking questions about the text. The point of the speech, and now we say this is what the point of the speech is. The point of the speech is actually to convince people. Hence is another connective or beginning word for for saying, but the video will serve the purpose of actually persuading people to change their ways towards nature. And from here on, we can elaborate and we can go more into detail regarding some of our reasons why we think the speech or the video is more convincing than the text. We could claim that the musical rhythm and the rhythm that the speech has the ability to persuade people. We could also state that the video, we are allowed to see how the audience reacts, which will also be a contributing factor towards us being more convinced about the video. All right, so yes, those are some of the structures that we need to go into when writing our argumentative essay. Firstly, remember our introduction and claim, like we did in our drafting, why we chose the video, just a little bit of an elaboration and what we chose, and then our body of our argumentative essay would include the counterclaims. Okay, these are things that people might say against our argument, so we need to prepare for things like that, as well as our counter argument against their claim to weaken their position on the topic. Right, so obviously we would then go into our conclusion after we have elaborated on the details of why we chose that specific claim. And in our conclusion, we will look at some of the strongest points that we had so that we can close off our argumentative essay in a very strong manner. So I would like you to work on that, grade 7s, to improve your writing, so that, and also be mindful of punctuation, grammar, transitional words that we also discussed in previous lessons when starting to write your argumentative text. Thank you so much.